Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Strasbourg Airport. Local time is 9 p.m. and the temperature is 13 degrees Celsius. When exiting the plane, please watch out for the low overhead door. If you forget, please watch your language. We hope you enjoy your visit at the Institute of Genetics and Molecular and Cellular Biology, and thank you for flying Ride Ataxia Airlines.
Dr. Hélène Puccio, thank you for joining me this morning. For you, it's afternoon. I really appreciate the time to talk about FA research and how it impacts the patient community.
So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Kyle, for the invitation.
So why don't we start off with what you do? I know a lot of people in the FA community have probably heard or read your name because you're on lots of different papers and, have involvement in lots of different things. But why don't you just tell us what you do?
Okay, so my lab has been concentrated for the past over 20 years on trying to model the disease, model Friedreich's ataxia. So by modeling, we mean trying to get either cells or mouse, for example, to mimic some parts of the disease in order to try to understand what happens when the frataxin gene is missing or is mutated, and then with end goal of trying to develop a therapeutic approach. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we spent a lot of time trying to generate models, and so we generated quite a bit of good mouse models and cellular models. And more recently, we've been doing pharmacological screens and also put a big effort in gene therapy development in the field.
Maybe if you could explain the gene therapy just briefly for everybody.
Okay. So as most of you know, FA is due to not enough frataxin protein in the cells of the patients. And so one way to combat that is to try to put more frataxin in every single cell. And a way to do this is through gene therapy. So gene therapy is actually bringing in not the protein itself, but bringing in the gene that will, so the piece of DNA that will enable to express frataxin. So we demonstrated in the mouse that we were able to do this both for the cardiac aspect, but also for the neurological aspect of the disease. And this was able to correct the disease in the mouse. And so this is, of course, much easier to do in the mouse. So, but this was showed that the proof of concept was capable of doing it. And so now we're continuing to try to understand how much frataxin or how much of the gene can be brought back in. And there's also a lot of industry working on developing the actual gene therapy medication, quotes unquote, the vector at large scale to be able to go into clinical trials.
What is the value, in your opinion, of international collaboration in FA research?
So international collaboration is actually absolutely necessary. It's already necessary for most researchers, but when we're in a rare disease environment, it's even more necessary because there's less patients and less labs and less money working on the disease, money towards the disease. And so we need to actually bring in our expertise all together and work together versus in competition. So I think the best example is actually at the discovery of the gene. You probably heard this from Massimo Pandolfo, but at the discovery of the gene, it was already a collaboration between Massimo Pandolfo at the time he was in Canada, and Michel Koenig, who was in Strasbourg at that time. So already you see that the discovery of the gene was that. And then throughout the whole, I think most of us in the field are doing a lot of collaboration because we need to have expertise from different labs. Whether this is international, it's international because there's less labs working on it, so we have to go internationally. For example, in France, there's only 3 labs working on the FA, so obviously I cannot find all the expertise just within France, and I need to find this expertise elsewhere.
It's just a beautiful thing when everyone's, sharing ideas and getting there together more quickly. So
Yeah, I think, well, I think FARA is a big promoter of that, and it's, not all communities are like that. I think that the international meetings that FARA has been funding from many years now, kind of forcing us to collaborate and share ideas, and not talk about published work, but talk about unpublished work, and get
Yeah.
the fact that the community is being tight, and some of us have been here for a long time, and so we know each other quite well. So I think we're giving also that idea of collaboration is important, and presenting new
Yeah.
ideas is important.
Yep. And I will say that, FARA is not the only one that is putting together these international conferences. We're working with other organizations, right? And that's another example of collaboration.
No, of course now, but at the beginning was just FARA, but now you're right. You're working with NAF and
Yeah.
UK Ataxia and FF and all that.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you've been in this game for a while. We've known each other for a long time. I happen to know that you love what you do. Why do you love what you do?
So there's two reasons behind why I love what I do. First of all, I'm a researcher and I'm a curious person, and I like to get to the end of my ideas. So that's the research part where this is why I'm putting so much work into trying to understand what's going on and trying to get to a therapeutic approach. I guess that would be the sense of the researcher. But why on FA, and why on FA for so long? So I think it's because I've discovered you guys, you in the United States, the patient community in France, and I'm actually very attached to the patient community and to trying to make a difference. And I must say the people, the researchers and the people I met in the field are absolutely amazing, and I like to work with these people. And so, if I think about Marek or Sanjay or these people, which we were postdocs when we met, we're now all still PI in the research field, I think that's also part of it. But yeah, so the fact that we're sticking in there, I think, is the community, the patient community, that makes us want to go further.
Yep, that's wonderful. Well, Dr. Puccio, thank you so much for joining me for a little insight into your work, and keep up the great work, and hopefully talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you, Cal.